Again, my name is Kirsten Gullickson. I work in the office of the clerk in a nonpartisan position here in the House of Representatives. And when I begin any of my talks, I like to put it in context. Although the U.S. Constitution doesn't mandate open sessions, the House of Representatives opens its doors to the public starting in April 1789, and we still can come to the chamber. Obviously, we have some pandemic rules and social distancing rules, but we can visit the Capitol and visit our members of Congress. But since those first meetings in 1789, the House has been preparing, managing, distributing, preserving, and archiving all of its official proceedings and documents. Just like all of the other national parliaments and our state legislatures, we all need to do those activities. But for our institution, like it was in those beginning days of the House, the paper document is still the official document of record. In the past, the tasks related to preparing, managing, distributing, and preserving the House's official documents were confined to that paper. And today, our challenge is adding a digital layer to that centuries-old paper process. So we are still, have several officials sign the documents. These are some photographs of those officials, and 3 of our presidents and a Speaker of our House signing those documents so that they can be enacted into law. I picked these photographs because it shows how big some of our bills are. So if you look at this one that President Obama is signing, here's the signature page that he's signing, but all of this material in the blue presentation case is the bill. And obviously putting a bill up in a PDF format on the internet is not always the best way to view it. So we're always looking about how can we get data about the content of our bills so people can do research and understand what our institution is doing for them. One of the things that we do, this is our screenshot of live.house.gov. So that's the web address, live.house.gov, is you can watch the floor proceedings and you can find links to legislative text that's debated. So in the past, in 1789, in 1920, 1970, you would have to come here to Washington, D.C. and go to the chamber to watch the proceedings. But now we're broadcasting those live, and we are publishing data in real time about how these actions are happening. And this is just a simple screenshot of some times and some actions. The next screenshot, I made it a little bigger. And these are our bill numbers. This is HR 1842. And you can see at, very late on July 26th, under suspensions of the House rules, they debated this bill. They considered the bill, and then they agreed to the bill by voice vote. And we have a system called Legislative Information Management System that we have had for decades. It was in an old mainframe. And now we are in a project to make it modernized and in cloud architecture and modern user interfaces and user experience-centered, human-centered design work that allows our floor staff to enter this data in real time and publish it in real time to our website. Just by looking at live.house.gov and seeing that the House debated this particular bill and considered it and passed it, doesn't really give you the full picture of what happened to HR 1842. So several years ago, we asked our Library of Congress, so not the House or the Senate, or not a joint effort between the House and Senate, we actually asked the Library of Congress to put together a website. And we are now in the second iteration of that website. It's called congress.gov. And it's going to take all the actions that the House has entered into its legislative information management system, all the actions that the Senate has entered into their legislative information management, and bring them together so that you can see all of the work and all of the actions on a particular bill. So we can see this is just a screenshot of a larger landing page for this bill on congress.gov. We can see that it was introduced on the House. On that July 26th, like I just showed you on live.house.gov, it passed the House. It was passed by the Senate on voice vote, and then we prepared what we call the enrollment. and presented to the president. The president signed it, and it was assigned a public law number, so it was enacted into law. This effort across our organizations, because we're bicameral, is necessary. So we have a little simple data exchange that goes between all of these organizations. We also have a government publishing office that then publishes and takes care of the presenting or publishing the paper. So the introduced bill, the bill as it was passed by the House, the bill as it was passed by the Senate, the bill that as it was enacted and created into public law is published by our government publishing office. What I didn't put on the slide was the data exchange between GPO and the Library of Congress, where the Library of Congress on that landing page for this particular bill would show all of those text documents. So again, we are a bicameral institution, so we asked Congress.gov to do this work and to tell the complete story. And so we've been embarking, and it's in the management of that legislative information has happened because we are using systems for our clerks in the clerk's office, our floor staff, to enter that in real time. And they enter, like this passed and agreed to in the House, they entered that. We even enter on the House side, we do this for both the House and the Senate. We enter the presented to the president, signed by the president in the public law into the system, and it gets transferred over to Congress.gov. One of the things that I'm excited about is you would think that in the House and the Senate, when we are talking about our legislative information management system, we always got the question of, can't we just publish the data? Can't we just publish the data directly out of it? Why can't we create APIs? And my response all those years ago was, well, it doesn't tell the story. It doesn't tell the story of both chambers of Congress and where this bill really is, where the status of the legislative proposal is. And so what we did, again, asking Congress.gov to do it, but the things over the years is we modernized that data. So we have a bulk data download that folks can get all of those actions that are on a particular bill can be consumed by bulk data. And just this fall, the end of summer here, beginning of fall, the Congress.gov is releasing an API. And so we can trace some of those legislative actions all the way back to what a clerk in the office of the clerk entered into our system, and we exchanged with them Congress.gov to make it into this API. And that happens at the same in the Senate. And that's really the bulk of what I wanted to share with you, was that some of the work we're doing, or the approach that we're taking as a bicameral institution in managing our data. And even though we've had our legislative information management system around for years, it started in a mainframe, and as technology has matured and those applications become legacy, so we're on the third round of updating that application. We are using an agile approach. We are using the cloud technologies to do it, and we are using a human-centered design approach to work with our staff to make sure that they get what they need. And we also are trying to do, where we can, reduce rekeying, because we do have a couple places where we do have to rekey. With that, this is my contact information. And with that, I will quit sharing my screen and happy to participate in questions and in discussion.